Hi viewers, welcome back with another video. My name is Shahid. I am a registered real estate consultant in Dubai and we are authorized sales partner for all the major developments in Dubai. And today's video is about buying and selling process. If you are owner of a property in Dubai and if you want to sell it, it will help you to understand. And also if you are a buyer of property, you are going to buy some property, this is also going to help you to understand the things. So watch my video till the end, and if you feel that this information is helpful, it increase your knowledge, hit the subscribe button. It will not cost you, but it will help me to make more nice and informative videos. So let's go toward our video. The video topic is buying selling process in Dubai. If there is a property and there is a buyer, there is a seller, how the deal will happen. Start from the property. There is a property, the owner wants to sell it. There is a seller who wants to sell a property and he need help of broker for this. Definitely buyer and seller not going to know each other. We have a system here, we have to go through brokers. So Mr. Seller called a real estate firm. I have a property in JBR ABC property number with these feature and I want to sell the property. What price I can get? Mr. Broker informed him, look Mr. Seller, this is the price right now we can get for you. And Mr. Seller said, okay, I am agreed if you can get the price from this to this. I have a cap that okay, you get 1.5 million to 1.6 million, in between we can close the deal. Now Mr. Broker will ask this person, Mr. Seller, provide me with the proof of ownership, which is title deed, provide me with your passport, to ensure that the property is genuine and valid in the system. Once he get this document, he can check in the broker app. There is a broker app. He will put the title deed number, he will put the year, and he will then validate it. If it's valid, it means that property exists. Now he will start working on it. And if Mr. Broker is asking to Mr. Seller, sir, I need an NOC for marketing this property, this is very normal. Mr. Seller can give the NOC to the broker for marketing this property. Now giving all this to the broker, ensure that you are not signing an exclusive agreement. Sometime broker like me are very tricky. They will send you an exclusive agreement which says that this particular broker is having this property exclusively for sale. So once you sign this agreement, if you are not happy with my services or anything, you still have to go through me. You cannot go through another broker. And if you will go through another broker and this broker will come to know that Mr. Seller sold the property through some other agent, he can claim his commission and you have to pay it as per the law. So be careful. If you are having a property and your agent is telling you to sign an agreement that is exclusive, you need to be careful. If you want to give him, we have no problem in that, but if you want to be careful on this, up to you. Now let's say you are reached on a price with the broker company or a broker. It's time for them to do the marketing. You will provide them the pictures or they will send their videographer or photographer whatsoever, or the agent will go himself or contact to the tenant to get the videos and photos of the property and market it on the portals. Ask your broker when he is marketing if he marketed your property or not. If he marketed it already, then ask the link of that ad so you can ensure your property is not least marketed, or they marketing it in a right way. So once it's marketed, now it's time for you to wait for an offer. Let's say they have got a call, Mr. Buyer is there and he wants to give an offer for your property. They got the offer, they call you, Mr. Seller, I have got an offer, will you be able to accept it? If you are accepting it, we are going to take a holding check, an offer check from the buyer. Now you will say as a seller, okay, I am agreed on this price. If you said no, then they will look another customer. Let's say they say yes. You said yes, I am going to sell this property for this much price. Get the booking deposit from the buyer. Now you should be knowing in Dubai there is no cash deposit given unless agreed further. The routine is that the buyer pays 10% holding check on the name of seller to be kept with the real estate firm till the completion of deal, and once the deal completed, this check goes back to the buyer. This is the routine happening. As per the law, both parties have to give the check, but we are talking about market practice, and this is happening in the market. So if both parties agreeing on giving the 10% check, that is more secure, and of course that will help to close in a swift way. So let's say Mr. Buyer has agreed to give check, and now it's time to make an MOU, which is memorandum of understanding. How the MOU things will happen: once the broker get an offer, there should be an MOU, which is electronic MOU these days. It does not need to be physically or paper MOU. If somebody is preparing and letting you sign a paper MOU, you need to understand, if it's not from the Dubai Land Department, they cannot safeguard your rights. In order to safeguard your rights, go through the legal procedure, that how the DLD is asking the brokers to prepare the MOUs. So how the MOU is made: Mr. Broker will first have to sign an agreement with Mr. Seller that this seller is going to sell this property for this price. The seller will get a message from DLD that you have this broker and this is the price, you want to sell your property for this price. Mr. Seller has to accept it. He will get a link on the message, he has to accept it, and then the Mr. Buyer will also get a similar link, that is called the agreement between buyer and the broker. This both parties, buyer and seller, has to be agreed, need to be agreed on certain price and terms and condition what is mentioned in contract A and B. Once contract A and B is electronically agreed and accepted by both of the parties, another unified contract is generated, which is also called MOU or contract F, we can say it also. So this contract is called MOU. Both of the parties, when they agreed on it, they will get this contract also, and they have to accept it. Once this is accepted, means your deal is almost cracked. So this is the MOU procedure. It's electronic procedure. If your information is not correct in DLD, let's say your mobile number is different, that you are not using it now, there is a procedure to correct it. So you will have to first correct your information in DLD, and then you will have to get the message from DLD for selling this property. And if you do not have this, you have to follow the procedure to put a new number, update your number in DLD system. So let's say now the form U is created, means the MOU is created between both of the parties. Contract F is created. That MOU contract F is the same thing, and it's created. Buyer agreed and he paid 10% check on the name of seller to the brokerage firm. This will be kept with the brokerage firm. Now it's time for both of the parties to get the NOC done. How the NOC will happen? Normally it's happening online. Some of the buildings don't even need the NOC, but some of them need the NOC. So Mr. Broker will get the buyer detail, the seller detail, fill up and get signed on the NOC form. Some of the developers need the buyer information form, the seller information form. Some of the developer also need a holding guarantee check to be kept with them unless the new buyer will come up with a new title deed. So whatever their procedure for the NOC, Mr. Broker will help both of the parties, and both of the parties need to provide the documents and whatever the developer asks. Okay, let's say that there is a fees for this one also, which whosoever parties agreed to pay should pay, and then the developer office will issue the NOC. After the NOC is issued, let me explain you how the NOC is. In NOC they will check for any breaches, they will check for any outstanding service charges, or they will check any kind of anything. They can check the developer, whatever is in their procedure. So they will complete their procedure, and then they will issue the NOC of selling the property. Once the NOC is out, both of the parties can go for the transfer. Now some of the people are overseas and they don't want to waste their time for everything, so they need to make an appointment that this is the date of transfer, where the buyer has to prepare the manager's check on the name of the seller in advance and send a copy to the seller that this is the manager check. This is very important. Sometimes people go for the transfer, they don't share the manager check copy, and but once you reach on the transfer, they will see there is a mistake in the name or there is something wrong, which of course will create a lot of hassle. So ask Mr. Buyer, prepare a manager check and send it to us for verification. Name verified, amount verified, okay, everything done. Make an appointment for the transfer. Where the transfer will happen is the land department trustees. Dubai Land Department has given franchises to different offices. There are different offices. You will have to go there, and you will Mr. Broker will be with you also, and the seller will come with his documents, the buyer will come with the manager's check and his documents, and both of the parties submit their documents there. Mr. Buyer will give the manager's check and Mr. Seller will give his documents. Everything will be kept with the officer. The transfer procedure starts, and there is the agreement between buyer and seller, whatever price they are selling and whatever price they are buying. Buyer detail, seller detail, there is a paper that is called the purchase agreement. Then both of the parties will sign that, and then this agreement whatsoever together with the manager's check copy is sent to Dubai Land Department. Dubai Land Department is going to approve it, and once the approval is done, Mr. Buyer will get a message and a title deed copy on his email, and Mr. Seller will also get a notification that the property has been sold. At that point of time, the trustee officer will call both of the parties. He will hand over the manager's check which the buyer given already to the seller, and then the title deed is already there in the buyer email. Remember, nowadays Dubai Land Department are not printing any title deeds, so whatever you have, it is in your email. You should get the prints and keep it for your safety. And then at this point of time, you will also, when you are in the DLD, you will calculate if there is any rental, security deposit from the tenant, if there are any service charges, if there is anything regarding this property or any document relevant to the tenant. Tenancy agreement is there, tenant passport copies are there, Emirates ID there, tenant checks is there. So Mr. Broker will have already the calculation for this tenancy agreement, which if the tenant is there, definitely Mr. Buyer has to get it from the seller, and sometime the seller pays some service charge in advance, which Mr. Buyer has to give it to Mr. Seller on pro rata basis. Everything is on pro rata basis based on the date of transfer. So viewers, this is how it will happen. So once this is settled, you can now give the commission to Mr. Broker, and everybody should be happy. What is the cost involved? Now I will explain to you. There is one thing. First thing is the selling price, whatever price you are agreeing to pay. The second thing is the NOC charges. It is very mandatory and it is important that all the parties are agreed. Once we are preparing the MOU, it's mentioned there that who will pay what. So it's important for you to understand that the contracts you are signing or you are accepting, so it will not create a hassle later on. So the cost involved in a buying selling deal in Dubai is that the selling price, whatever the people buy or sell. The second thing is that 4% of the selling price will be charged by Dubai Land Department. The practice is that the buyer pays unless agreed further. There is 580 dirham for the title deed fees. The title deed is a proof of ownership, so you have to pay 580 dirham for that. There is NOC charges. You have to decide that who is going to pay the NOC charges. There is another thing which is called broker commission. Whatsoever is your agreement, whatever buyer is agreeing to pay, whatever seller is agreeing to pay, the practice is that 2% is of the selling price is the brokerage fees currently, and then it's up to you that how the broker generally demands something. It depends on the deal. Sometimes broker asks for less or more, or whatever your agreement is there. At the time of successful transfer, you have to pay him. So this is the broker fees, and then the service charge, of course, and both of the party need to exchange service charge, rental and deposit of the tenant. And then there is something called DEWA registration. Once you are a landlord for this property, you have to register DEWA under your name, for which you have to pay deposit 2000 dirham in DEWA office. So this is generally how the cost is there. So viewers, this is, I believe this video is helpful if you are going to buy or sell any properties. And of course, if you need any query, any information, or if you want to sell your properties and you need some help, please give me a call on 058-878-1989. And this is it for today. I'll be seeing you in the next video. Take care of yourself. Bye bye.